Castile and León, Leonese, Castiella y Llión, Galician, Castela y Llión, is an autonomous community in northwestern Spain. It was constituted in 1983, although it existed for the first time during the First Spanish Republic in the 19th century. León first appeared as a kingdom in 910, whilst the Kingdom of Castile gained an independent identity in 1065 and was intermittently held in personal union with León before merging with it permanently in 1230. It is the largest autonomous community in Spain and the third largest region of the European Union, covering an area of 94,223 square kilometers with an official population of around 2.5 million. The organic law of Castile and León, under the Spanish Constitution of 1978, is the by-region Statute of Autonomy. The statute lays out the basic laws of the region and defines a series of essential values and symbols of the inhabitants of Castile and León, such as the linguistic patrimony as well as the historic, artistic, and natural patrimony. Other symbols alluded to are the coat of arms, flag, and banner. There is also allusion to a regional anthem, though as of 2013 none has been adopted. It is the region of the world with the most World Heritage Sites, 8 in total. April 23 is designated Castile and León Day, commemorating the defeat of the Comuneros at the Battle of Villala during the revolt of the Comuneros in 1521. Geography. Castile and León is bordered by Portugal and Galicia to the west and by Asturias and Cantabria to the north. Aragon, the Basque Country, and La Rioja is to the east, and the border to the south is with Madrid, and with Castilla-La Mancha and Extremadura to the southwest. Castile and León is in the Meseta Central, a plateau in the middle of the northern half of the Iberian Peninsula. The Spanish part of the Douro River basin is nearly coterminous. There is also El Bierzo and La Chana, Vale de Mena, and the Vale del Tietar, very secluded mountain valleys, including some from neighboring valleys and stretches. Terrain. Much of its territory consists of a large central plateau, the Meseta. Its height lies between 700 to 1,000 meters. Rivers. The most prominent hydrographic feature of Castile and León is the river Douro and its tributaries. The Douro runs 897 kilometers from its headwaters in the Picos de Urbión in Soria to its mouth at the Portuguese city of Porto. Flowing into the Douro from the north, on its right bank, are the Pisuerga, the Val de Rajui and the Esla, its most capacious tributaries, and from the east, on its left bank, the lesser flows of the Adahar and Duratón. After passing the city of Zamora, the Douro flows through a canyon in the Arribes del Duero Natural Park where it constitutes the border with Portugal. Flowing north, from its left bank, it receives the waters of such important tributaries as the Tormes, Hubra, Agueda, the Coa and the Paiva, all originating in the Sistema Central. For the right bank, it receives the waters of the Saba, the Tua, and the Tamega, originating in the Galician Massif. Beyond the Arribes, the Douro turns west, flowing through Portugal to the Atlantic. Climate. The highest rainfall is found in León, with a yearly average of 556 mm, whilst Palencia has the lowest amount. The region has a continental climate, characterized by relatively cold winters and dry warm summers. This is the result of distance from the sea in high altitude. Only two small areas have a milder climate: the section of the province of Ávila which extends south of Gredos Mountains into the Tiayacutar Valley, and the area where the Duero River forms a natural border between Zamora province and Portugal known as the Arribes del Duero. Regional administration and government. Castile and León is divided into 9 provinces: Ávila, Burgos, León, Palencia, Salamanca, Segovia, Soria, Valladolid, Zamora. Each of these provinces is named after its respective provincial capital. Autonomous executive. The executive of Castile and León is known as the Junta de Castilla y León in Spanish. It has one head of the regional executive, the president of the Junta of Castile and León, and 12 departments, 2 vice-presidencias and 10 ministries. Seat of the regional executive, neighborhood of Covarrubias, Valladolid. Seat of the accounting committee, Palencia. Another party, the left of centre Castilian nationalist Era Comunera ACAL, has contested previous elections and has held seats in the regional courts in the past, but as of 2011 it is not represented in that body. Culture. Languages. Besides the dominant Castilian Spanish, 3 other regional languages figure in the linguistic patrimony of Castile and León. 2 of these are recognized explicitly in the Statute of Autonomy. The Leonese language, according to the statute, will be the object of specific protection for its particular value in the linguistic heritage of the community. The Galician language, according to the statute, merits respect and protection in the places where it is habitually used, which is effectively to say the portions of the comarcas of El Bierzo and Sanabria bordering Galicia. In addition, although unmentioned in the statute, in the comarca of El Ribolla in the province of Salamanca, people speak a variety of extreme Ajuran known as Hablar del Ribolla. Education. Universities. Public University of Burgos, University of León, University of Salamanca, University of Valladolid, National University of Distance Education. Private Catholic University of Avila, Miguel de Cervantes European University, i.e. University Pontifical University of Salamanca. History. Castile and León traces its history to the medieval kingdoms of Castile and León, which were permanently united under the crown of Castile in 1301. Together with other Christian-ruled Iberian kingdoms, the separate monarchies of Castile and León participated in the Reconquista, of Iberia from the Moors, its medieval Muslim rulers. The first dynastic union of León and Castile came about in 1037, when Ferdinand, the 20-year-old Count of Castile, defeated his brother-in-law Bermudo III of León in battle and claimed the crown of León through the rights of his own wife, Sancha, Bermudo's sister. Although he declared himself Emperor of all Spain in 1056, the union ended with Ferdinand's death in 1065, when Castile, León, and Galicia each passed to a different one of Ferdinand's sons and certain cities to his daughters, with a further division of spheres of influence in the Muslim taifas. The arrangement did not hold. The sons soon fought. Eventually one son, Alfonso VI of León, again created an effective union and in 1077 again claimed the title of Emperor of all Spain. However, his death in 1109 left the kingdoms again disunited. The medieval Cortes of León is one of the earliest ancestors of Europe's parliaments. The remote origins of the Cortes dates back to the early 12th century. The Cortes of León of 1188, called by Alfonso IX as one of the earliest documented gatherings of the estates in which commoners of the cities and towns are represented beside the clergy and nobility as counselors to the monarch. Alfonso gathered similar assemblies in 1202 in Benavente and 1208 in León. In the Kingdom of Castile, the first curia, a large assembly to address the affairs of the kingdom, appears to have been convoked by Alfonso VIII in 1187 at San Esteban, Gormaz, with the leading men of 50 cities in attendance. In his capacity as King of Castile, Ferdinand III received the homage of large delegations at Valladolid in 1217 and convoked a curia area in 1219 at Burgos. Valladolid was home to a number of Castilian kings between the 12th and 17th centuries. Antecedents to the autonomous community, Spain has alternated between regionalism and centralization several times in the last century and a half. In 1869, the republicans of the present Castile and León, plus the provinces of Santander and Logroño, had drafted the Castilian Federal Pact, which projected the creation of a federated state under the name Castilla y Llión in these 11 provinces. During the First Republic, the Republican Democratic Federal Party intended to make this a reality. However, the fall of the Republic at the beginning of 1874 put an end to this initiative. In 1921, on the 4th centenary of the Battle of Villalar, the municipal government of Santander, Cantabria, advocated for the establishment of a Castilian Commonwealth of these same 11 provinces. In late 1931 and early 1932, the priest Eugenio Marino, in León, wrote a piece for the Diario de León stating a basis for Castilian Leonese regionalism. During the Second Republic, especially in 1936, there was a great deal of regionalist activity favorable to a region of 11 provinces, including the elaboration of the basis of a statute of autonomy. The Diario de León advocated for the formalization of this initiative and the constitution of an autonomous region as follows: to unite in one personality León and Old Castile around the Great Basin of the Douro, without falling now into a simple village rivalries. The establishment of a centralizing regime after the Spanish Civil War brought an end to these aspirations for regional autonomy. After the death of the dictator Francisco Franco unleashed the Spanish transition to democracy, there was an upwelling of Castilian Leonese regionalist, autonomist and nationalist organizations such as Alianza Regional de Castilla y Llión, Instituto Regional de Castilla y Llión and the Autonomic Nationalist Party of Castile and León. None of these survive today, but similar sentiments are now represented by Unidad Regionalista de Castilla y Llión. Forming the autonomous community, Castile and León obtained a pre-autonomic regime by the Royal Decree 21,978, June 13, 1978. This set the region on the course toward establishing an autonomous community, a path that had been offered first to Catalonia toward the end of 1977 and would eventually be granted to every part of Spain. 5 years later, in 1983, the autonomous community of Castile and León was made concrete by the Statute of Autonomy accepted by both the community and the Spanish state. The provincial deputation of León agreed on April 16, 1980 to endorse the Castilian Leonese process, but then revoked that support January 13, 1983. Just as the proposed organic law was before the Spanish Parliament, the Constitutional Court of Spain upheld the first of these two contradictory Leonese resolutions. The court's decision was met by demonstrations in León and elsewhere in the Leonese territories in favor of a policy of León solo. The roughly 90,000 people who gathered in León at the time constituted the largest demonstration in that city between the revival of democracy and the demonstrations after the 2004 Madrid train bombings. Demography. The most recent official census by the Instituto Nacional de Estadística as January 1, 2011, gave a population of 2,558,463, representing 5.42% of the population of Spain. As of January 2011, the population of Castile and León by province stood as follows: Ávila, 172,704 inhabitants; Burgos, 375,657; León, 497,700. 199, Palencia 171,668, Salamanca 352,986, Segovia 164,169, Soria 95,223, Valladolid 534,874, and Zamora 193,383. Depopulation in the mid-20th century. Even before the Spanish Civil War, the rural areas of present-day Castile and León were losing population due to emigration to Spain's large cities and abroad. This trend accelerated in the decade immediately after the Civil War. The growth of a strong industrial center in Valladolid, including Spain's first automobile factory, the Renault plant led by the soldier and engineer Manuel Jiménez Alfaro, mitigated, but did not stop, the emigration. In both the 1960s and 1980s, the urban nuclei and provincial capitals gained population, but the region as a whole still suffered a net loss. To this day, the region has an aging population and a low birth rate contrasted against a merely average death rate by national standards. Present-day population distribution. In 1960, only 20.6% of the population of present-day Castile and León was urban. By 1991, that percentage had risen to 42.3%. The decline in rural population has apparently been somewhat stemmed, with a 1998 statistic showing 43%. Many rural areas became very sparsely populated in the mid to late 20th century. In 1986 there were 7 times as many municipalities with less than 100 inhabitants as in 1960. A recent study from University of Porto highlighted Castile and León, particularly the province of Salamanca, as one of the European regions where old people could expect to live longer. Notable cities include the 9 provincial capitals plus Miranda de Ebro and Aranda de Duero in the province of Burgos, Ponferrada and San André del Rabanado in León, Belar in Salamanca, and Medina del Campo and Laguna de Duero in Valladolid. Of the 2,247 municipalities in the autonomous community, the 2000 census shows 1,970 with 1,000 or fewer inhabitants, 234 between 1,001 and 5,000, 20 between 5,001 and 10,000, 10 between 10,001 and 20,000, 6 between 20,001 and 50,000, 3 between 50,001 and 100,000, and 4 with over 100,000 inhabitants. Those last are Valladolid, Burgos, Salamanca and León. At the other extreme, Las Comunas de Matacabras has a population of 18, Renaza has 24, Villamontero de Campos has 14, and Gormaz, 17. Economy. Castilla y Llión accounts for 5.2% of Spain's GDP. Workforce. In 2001 the workforce was 1,005,200 with 884,200 are employed, meaning 12.1% of the workforce were out of work. 10.9% of the employed population work in agriculture, 20.6% in industry, 12.7% in construction, and 63.1% in the service sector. In 2007, the unemployment rate was down to 6.99%, but the late 2000s recession drove the number up to 14.14% by July 2009. Primary sector. Castile and León has roughly 5,783,831 hectares of arable land, more than half of the region's area. The land is generally dry dry but fertile dryland farming predominates. Nonetheless, there is increasing irrigation in the basins of the Douro, Pisuerga, and Tormes. About 10% of the region's farmland is irrigated, allowing intensive farming in those regions. Flat topography and improved communications have facilitated the entry of technical innovations throughout the agricultural production process, above all in areas such as the provinces of Valladolid and Burgos, where production per hectare is among Spain's highest. Castile and León's most fertile lands are in the Esla Valley of León, in the countryside of Valladolid, and in the Tierra de Campos, which intersects the provinces of Zamora, Valladolid, Palencia, and León. The region has 9 wine zones, which are mostly located around the Douro Valley. Agricultural workforce. Some 92,600 people work in the primary sector in Castile and León, about 10% of employment in the region. 2001 data showed 5% unemployment in this sector. Broken down by provinces, approximately 9,400 are employed in this sector in Ávila, 8,100 each in Burgos and Palencia, 18,300 in León, 9,200 in Salamanca, 6,400 in Segovia, 5,600 in Soria, 8,300 in Valladolid, and 14,600 in Zamora. The region's agricultural and farming sector represents 7.6% of the total in Spain. Secondary sector. Industry. As of 2000, industry. 18% of the workforce of Castile and León were engaged in industry, generating 25% of regional GDP. The principal industrial centers of the cities of Valladolid, Burgos, Aranda de Duero, León, and Ponferrada. Mining. Mining has been important in Castile y León since the time of the Roman Empire, when the Roman Via Plata from Asturica Augusta to Emerita Augusta and Hispales was built to transport silver and gold mined from the deposits of Las Medulas in El Bierzo. Centuries later, after the Spanish Civil War, mining was again a factor in the economic development of the region. However, production of iron, tin, and tungsten declined notably from the 1970s onward. Coal mining continued due to local demand for thermal power generation. Numerous Leonese mines closed in the 1980s and 1990s. Despite investments under the Mining Action Plan of the Junta of Castile and León, coal mining continues to be a troubled industry regionally. Energy. The Douro and Ebro rivers have numerous hydroelectric plants that make Castile and León one of Spain's leading regions in terms of power generation. Installed hydroelectric power total 3,992 megawatts, with an annual product of 5,417 gigawatt-hours. Nuclear power generates another 3,483 gigawatts per year. Thermal power from carboniferous fuels remains the region's leading source of energy, contributing 16,956 gigawatt-hours for a regional total of 25,856 gigawatt-hours from these major facilities. All of the nuclear power comes from the Santa Maria de Gerona nuclear power plant in the province of Burgos, which is currently expected to shut down in July 2013. Tertiary sector. 63.1% of the workforce of Castile and León is deployed in the service sector. Tourism. Tourism highlights of the region include Burgos Cathedral, León Cathedral, Segovia, with its fortress, the walls of Ávila, city of Salamanca, Sierra de Francia. Transportation. Most major surface routes from northern Spain to the capital, Madrid, and to southern Spain and Portugal pass through Castile and León. Portugal's most important route to the east also traverses the region. As a result, Castile and León is important in the transportation network. The major roads are Autovia A1, which runs from Madrid to the Basque port of Irún on the French border, and Autovia A6, the Autovia del Noroeste, which runs from Madrid to Arteixo, A Coruña. Also important is Autovia A62, which comes out of Portugal through the cities of Salamanca, Valladolid, Palencia, and Burgos and continues east as part of European Route E80. Along those three routes are such important cities as Medina del Campo, Aranda de Duero, and Miranda de Ebro. Air travel. León Airport, also known as Virgin del Camino, currently handles only domestic traffic, but hopes to handle international traffic in the future. Salamanca Airport, also known as Matacan, handles domestic flights and international charter flights. Burgos Airport, also known as Villafría, opened in July 2008. Madrid's main airport, Barajas, is nearby as well, although as of 2009 there is no direct connection through public transportation. Rail. Castile and León has an extensive rail network, including the principal lines from Madrid to Cantabria and Galicia. The line from Paris to Lisbon crosses the region, reaching the Portuguese frontier at Fuentes de Honoro in Salamanca, Astorga, Burgos, León, Miranda de Ebro, Palencia, Ponferrada, Medina del Campo and Valladolid are all important railway junctions. Railways operate in several different gauges: Iberian gauge, UIC gauge, and narrow gauge. Except for some narrow gauge lines, trains are operated by Renfe on lines maintained by the Administrador de Infraestructuras Ferroviarias. Both of these are national, state-owned companies. Iberian gauge lines: Madrid, Irún, Madrid, Burgos, Castellón de Ebro, Bilbao, Venta de Baños, A Coruña, Palencia, Santander, León, Gijón, Medina del Campo, Santiago de Compostela, Medina del Campo, Fuentes de Honoro, Torralba, Soria, Villalba, Segovia, narrow gauge: León, Bilbao, Ferrocarril de la Robla, Europe's longest narrow gauge line, operated by FEVE. Cerca de la Cotos, operated by Renfe. Ponferrada, Villablino, operated by the Ferrocarril MSP under the Junta of Castile and León. Roads. Castile and León is the land transport hub of northern Spain. It is crossed by international roads E80 and E05. These are the main road connections from Portugal and the south of Spain to the rest of Europe. The region is also crossed by two major ancient routes: the Way of St. James, mentioned above as a World Heritage Site, now a hiking trail and a motorway from east to west; the Roman Via de Plata, mentioned above in the context of mining, now a main road through the west of the region. The road network is regulated by the Ley de Carreteras 10/2008 de Castilla y Llión. This law allows for the possibility of roads financed by the private sector through concessions, as well as the public construction of roads that has long prevailed. Nature, flora and vegetation. The solitary oaks and junipers now found on the Castilian Leonese plains are remnants of forests that once covered these lands. Agricultural exploitation, cultivation of cereals and creation of pastures for the vast flocks of the Castilian meseta meant the deforestation of these lands during the Middle Ages. The last juniper forests of Castile and León can be found in the provinces of Soria and Burgos. In some of these forests, junipers are mixed with pine, or even with oak or gall oak, but the conifers predominate. The Castilian Leonese slope of the Cantabrian Mountains and the northern foothills of the Sistema Iberico both boast rich vegetation. The cool, moist slopes are populated by large beech forests, which can extend extend as high as altitudes of 1,500 meters. The beaches may form mixed forests with yew, rowan, common hawthorn, holly, and birch. The sunny slopes bring forth sessile oak, English oak, ash, common hawthorn, chestnut, birch, and pino de lillo, a native pine species of northern León. Wide extensions of oak survive on the lower slopes of the Sistema Central. Higher up, between 1,000 meters and 1,000 meters altitude, chestnuts are abundant. Nonetheless, many oak forests have disappeared, cut down and replaced by pines. The principal native pine forests are in the Sierra de Guadarrama. The subalpine zones between 1,700 meters and 2,200 meters are home to shrubs and juniper. Much of the province of Salamanca, above all in the comarcas of Salices and Ciudad Rodrigo, is occupied by dehesas, a type of sparsely wooded land resembling the African savannas, with oak, cork oak, gall oak and Turkish oak. The provinces of Salamanca and Valladolid in the area of Rueda also have olive trees, which do not grow elsewhere in Castile and León. Fauna. Castile and León has a great diversity of fauna. Some of these are notable either for being endemic to the region or for the rarity. 418 species of vertebrates have been identified, constituting 63% of the vertebrates that can be found in Spain. Animals adapted to the high mountains, inhabitant of rocky landscapes, river dwellers, lowland species, and forest animals all can be found in Castile and León. The mountain rivers provide a habitat for nutrias and Pyrenean desmans, not to mention trout, freshwater eels, bighead carp and some increasingly rare native freshwater crabs. Mammals include the otter and desman. In the lower depths of the river of the barbels and carp. Local amphibians include newts, the almanzor salamander and the great-nosed toad. The latter two are endemic to the Sistema Central. Among the birds that populate the open Mediterranean forests are two endangered species, the black stork and the Spanish imperial eagle. In the coniferous forest live, among other tree creepers, the coal-tit and a Eurasian nuthatch. The western capercaillie can also be found. Among the raptors in the forests of the northern goshawk, the Eurasian sparrowhawk and members of the true owl family, which frequently prey upon such smaller birds as Eurasian jays, woodpeckers, finches of the genus Fringilla, and warblers of the genus Sylvia. The great bustard frequents the plains cleared for dryland farming. In the winter, the Castilian Leonese wetlands teem with greylag geese that have flown south from the breeding grounds in northern Europe. After many centuries disappeared from the Iberian Peninsula, the European bison is being reintroduced in Castile and León.